Here we have some typical damage on the front door and the rear door. It was a customer of mine, really nice guy. He didn't want to pay for a respray, which is fair enough. I also advised him you'd have to paint obviously both panels, particularly on this kind of colour, so he didn't want the expense and the hassle of going down that route. So first I like to prep the area just with a very, very light sand with either 1500 or 2000. This just rounds off any edges of the damage so that we can start the process. Often chips and scratches aren't perfectly uniform, so I always give it a quick sand down, and it also keys it up as well when you apply the paint. Okay, so I've got a really fine line brush. If you're in the UK, Paint Gear sell these. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. Any really fine art brush will do, I suppose. I do obviously like the Paint Gear ones. They're really accurate. They've got a really long tip. So I'm basically I've got some solvent paint, and I've put in a little pot, and I'm just touching those scratches in, trying to run a nice neat line down them, as neat as I can really. You don't want too much excess, just kind of fill up the area. Okay, so I've probably left it for about an hour, so now we're going to get some 1500 sandpaper. So we're just going to flat away any excess paint around the scratch, make it nice and uniform, nice and flat. I will say at this point, everybody always asks, do I put lacquer in the paint? With the Paint Gear stuff, the gloss enhancer is either provided with it or it's already mixed in with a touch-up paint. If you're outside the UK, I think on this video I just used solvent automotive paint. If you want to put a bit of clear coat or lacquer in it, just put a couple of drops in it, but obviously allow a bit longer for drying times. It does obviously improve the overall finish, I think, if you have a little bit of lacquer in it. So that's that kind of thing covered. Okay, so I flattered that down with 1500 on a little block, wet and dry. Obviously always keep the paper wet. We're just going over the same area now with 2000 grit. I always extend the area slightly each grit so that I'm making sure that I cover all the previous sanding marks. Always check your work regularly when you're sanding and polishing so that you can keep an eye on your progress. Obviously we don't want to sand too much, we just want it flat. So at this point I had sanded it back and I decided that I needed a bit more paint in there, so we're just going to, with a fine line brush, just do a very, very neat line just to fill the crevice of the scratch. It was actually a really deep scratch, so you know, a couple of applications are probably needed, maybe 3 sometimes. Okay, so once I'm happy with that, we're just going to move on to the polishing stage already. So again, Paint Gear provide these kits with the backing pad for the drill. So this is just a normal drill, any cordless drill do. I like upping sanding marks away with a rotary machine, i.e. it spins rather than oscillates. I just think you get more cut out of it, so I showed it in this video because most guys have got a cordless drill, so I thought it'd be cool if you could, if you didn't have to buy any further equipment. So that was that really. Yeah, so let's have a look at the results. It came out really well. With anything like chip repair or scratch repair, you need to measure expectations. You know, if you want it perfect, then you're unfortunately going to have to pay for a respray, and whether this was on both panels or not, it probably would have needed painting on both panels because of the colour. So it starts becoming really expensive and a lot of hassle. So I think the results were absolutely fantastic for this job. The customer couldn't see it. I could still see it slightly, but obviously I'm super critical of any work that I do. You can still see it slightly, and unlike other YouTube videos and stuff I've seen on Instagram, I'm taking multiple angles so we can catch it in all lights. So that was it before. As you can see, it's gouged on the edge of the door and really deep scratches really. It's gone down to definitely primer, so it was never going to polish away, and as you can see we sanded it a little bit and that still didn't remove it, so it definitely needs some paint applied. So there's the finished result, guys. As always, no messing about with this channel, we just got straight into it. I've got plenty more content, stay tuned, and also hit subscribe, comment and like, help the channel out. I want to keep it going.